TNT Extreme has turned 7 years old. Trish, Adora and Holidead have been announced for Progress's Who Runs the World. And Jonathan Gresham has been announced for Progress Everything Pattern London. Minoru Suzuki to challenge for the Rev Pro UK Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship at Epic Encounter 2022. BT Gunn to challenge Kez Evans for the ICW Heavyweight Championship at Bard 2022. FNW has ceased operation. Joe Hendry will be part of the ROH Supercard of Honor, and Session Moth Martina has made her AEW Dark debut. Hello, everybody, and welcome to TNT, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net. Brought to you by Powerful TV. I'm your host, the Great British Taku, Mr. Entrimore, and Eaton Most, and I'm joined as always by the co-host. He is Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, just Dan for short. How we do?
I'm a little bit sad. You see, my local promotion, who I love, and I know we're going to get into it in the news, is no more. Yeah. I had season tickets and everything. I think they were putting on some of the best matches in the UK.
I do too.
My favourite match this year has been Luke Jacobs versus Axel Tisca, and that was there. And
yeah, we'll definitely get into that. We'll talk about reasons. We hope we won't tread on anyone's toes because we will look at the reasons and try and figure out possibly where things went wrong, maybe what could have been done differently. But we'll see. But yeah, we got plenty of news for you. We've got some fantasy booking, as we mentioned, Progresses, Who Runs the World, and their Everything Pattern London are BAME and all women's shows. So we have fantasy booked our own BAME and all women's shows, pretending we are Progress. Of course, we've got plenty of further roundup, lots of quick Euro news, and reviews of Progress, ICW, and NXT UK.
And it was a big ICW pay-per-view as well.
It was square go.
Sorry, premium show.
Oh yes, premium live event. It's the term, isn't it?
I don't think ICW would say that. I think they'd say just a big fucking show.
Yeah, big show. That's it. It is their big show, because every show almost used to be almost basically pay-per-view. So, yeah, lots to talk about. So, starting off, TNT Extreme turned 7.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, TNT. Happy birthday to you.
And we'll be speaking to a vital member of the TNT Extreme cog for a long period on this week, which we'll be releasing for you during the week. Just a little hint, not telling you who yet, but yes, we do. And well, yeah, I mean, 7 years. Well done, I guess.
7 years and constantly growing and getting even bigger with the upcoming GCW crossover show and the new partnership with Progress. I mean, yeah, TNT is just growing and growing. Yeah.
Semantics.
They're just growing and growing and growing. Liverpool's finest. Well done, TNT.
One of the best kept secrets. They aren't, the name it says TNT Extreme, you think, but it's not all about the extreme wrestling. They do have their extreme division, plenty of deathmatch, but at the same time, they have great matches. We will actually be talking about 2 cards on our top picks for the week. The TNT Ignition show, of course, they brought in a second brand, if you like, that focused on the younger talent coming out of the academies all over in the Northeast, which has done fantastically well. It's become more than just being the second TNT brand. It's a brand of its own. It's a promotion of its own. It's a family friendly, with still being the focus on some of the younger talent, so they're not doing all the extreme stuff, which I like.
Yeah. But even the extreme still has some absolutely proper wrestling. It's just like ECW was.
And GCW is now.
Yeah.
And one thing they've definitely always been applauded for is women's wrestling. The women's division has always been one of their strongest points. Molly Spartan and Casey, they did win the tag team championships this year as the She-Wolves, and we're not talking about women's tag team championship. No, they just won the tag team championships. As I say, they main evented Lizzie Evo and Alexis Falcon almost 3 shows in a row. TNT Extreme main evented by those 2 incredible women. And yeah, just absolutely fair play. As you say, GCW, the partnership now with Martin Best and Lima Katir. So it hopefully keeps growing and growing. If TNT Extreme should be a promotion that people are watching, along with, I would say, North NCL, British Wrestling Revolution.
And why should they be watching it?
Just because they've been developing their own sense of brand. They constantly run in stories. The only thing was, is I would have said the exact same thing about FNW. Again, we'll get into that, but yeah, the 3 promotions really focus on telling us, dedicated storylines. They have dedicated venue, very similar to like an old Progress model, and fanatic fans that make every show just that much better. And I think they deserve plaudits for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are other promotions, but when we're talking about ease of accessibility to content, the production values, I think these companies are just probably a little bit more ahead than others.
Yeah. Plus, I did ask, where could they watch it?
Oh, where can they watch it? TNT Extreme they can watch on Powered 4 TV, of course, and they can do so for free if they sign up and use our promotional code TPOD, TEAPOD. They will get 30-day freeze to check out all that amazing TNT Extreme content and TNT Ignition content, plus loads more. Catch Pro, Triumph Pro Wrestling, RCWA, Wrestle Wild, and there's just so many. The newest members, the Phenomenal Elite Wrestling, of course, and just so many reasons to sign up to Powered 4 TV and to use our promotional code.
We got it in early this week.
TEAPOD, 30 days free. Give it a go.
Yeah, we got it in proper early this week.
Yeah, North, they are on Patreon and IWTV on delay, and BWR have their own on-demand system, which is BWR on demand. And as I say, ease of access content is just, it's there. And so they're 3 of the promotions I really think people should be following. And of course, Progress is a promotion that definitely should always be followed. They've stepped up this year, the new owners. We've just mentioned them, Lee McAteer and Martin Best. And a couple of things they've done. One of the first things they've done is they've introduced the first ever Progress BAME show and the first ever Progress all women's show. And now, not the first promotions to do this. Resurgence were the first promotion to put on an only BAME show. TNT Extreme and many others have already done all women's shows. So not the first, but it's good to see that the biggest promotion, one of the, it's debatable whether they are the top promotion of independent British wrestling. And I'm sure we could argue down another day, but you just go round in circles between the top few, really. And it's good for them to step up and to do this. There's amazing talent out there. So many incredible women, so many incredible BAME performers. And just why we have done our own fantasy cards, which we'll talk about in just one second once we've gone through the fact that Jonathan Gresham has been announced for Progress Everything Patterned London. He will be facing Malik. And the other match that has been announced is Warren Banks versus Jody Fleisch. Did you book any of these 2 matches?
I've booked all 4 of those wrestlers, but not in those matches.
I just realized I haven't booked one of those wrestlers. But yes, I did not book those matches either. So we'll find out. And I'm really regretting that decision right now in my head. I'm going, God damn it, why didn't I book that person? And of course, on so that's Everything Patterns London. That's on the 23rd of March after chapter 130. But before that as well, with the all women's show, which is Who Runs the World, and Trish, Adora and Holidead have been announced. Giselle Shaw has also been announced. And one match has definitely been announced so far, which is Alexis Falcon and Lana Austin. So that feud will continue. And I've just noticed they've booked the... Oh, it is... I'm not sure if it's a title match. They haven't actually said if it's a title match or not, but it will be Giselle Shaw versus Session Moth Martina.
Nice.
Again,
I didn't book that one either.
No,
but
I didn't book the Lana Austin and Alexis Falcon. I booked them in a match together, but not those exact. So, but yes, and I just realised I'm not sure if I booked one of those people.
I don't think I booked Session Moth.
I don't think I booked Session Moth. And that's huge. I can't believe I didn't book Session Moth. And to be honest, I've just realised a couple of people were technically free agents now that I didn't use either. Nixon Norton, Tony Storm.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't. I might have to do something. But there is also the 10th anniversary show that is on March 25th. A Gauntlet Tag Team Championship match has been announced. Smoking Aces, Lycos Gym, the 0121 Sunshine Machine, and an unnamed tag team. So, and that's on the 25th of March, and it's chapter 130 on the 20th of March. And I'm going to be there. Chapter 130, I'm going to be there. We'll get into that another time.
Bastard.
Yeah, we'll get on to the reasons why I'm going to be. I don't really want to. Once I've had it and I've done it, then I'll talk about it. But I am going to be at chapter 130, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be, a tremendous day for myself. Anyway, let's talk about. So it was your women's show that has been announced first. So we will book the all women's show first on fantasy versions of this. Would you like to do first?
Yes. My show is going to be hosted by Session Moth Martina.
Oh, clever boy.
Okay, my first match, I want to start off with a hard-hitting match.
Right.
So I'm going to have Kanji versus my new favourite, Laurie, from Germany. She is absolutely fantastic, and these two will have a real hard-hitting, strong match, and I think it'll be great.
Excellent. I'll tell you, we should probably announce it. There were rules to these, so we had to book 8 match cards, and we could only use up to 6 internationals if we so choose. Yeah. So we do have rules in place when we do these fantasy bookings.
Yeah. I don't always pay attention to them, but we do have the rules.
Yeah.
I then have Mercedes Blaze versus Hyam.
Okay.
We've seen it before. It's been amazing, and I think we should see it again. I then have Lizzie Evo and Alexis Falcon in a Can They Work Together tag team versus the She-Wolves.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, there can be a little bit of dissension within the ranks between those two, but I think they do complement each other well. And if they can work together against the She-Wolves, they will have a really great match.
Yeah.
Angel Hayes versus Alex Windsor. Technical wrestling match.
Nice. I like that. It's a good match.
I'm then going to bring in my international stars and have Giselle Shaw versus Taya Valkyrie.
Ooh, nice one.
Yeah. And then I am going to have another tag team match. I'm going to have Gia Adams and Lana Austin versus the Pretty Little Killers. And I think that match will be quite cool. And then my headliner is Mickie James versus Tony Storm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's my card. I think there's some possible standouts, particularly the Kanji versus Laurie match. But yeah, I think it could be good fun.
I like it. I know. I like it. It's some good matches. All right, my card.
Mm-hmm.
So I start off with a 6-pack challenge, in which they are all people making debuts.
Oh.
So I've got Chantel Jordan.
Yep.
Versus Rebecca Resner.
Yep.
Versus Mariah May.
Nice.
Versus Lucia Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Leah Raven, and versus Harley Hudson.
That is going to be very good fun.
It's called my Future of British Women's Wrestling 6-pack challenge. I have booked Holidead and Trish Adora as they were already being booked, and I have pitted them against the team of Ronnie Knox and Clementine.
Mm.
I think that would be a nice little tag team. Slight change to the card due to injury. Session Moth Martina and Charlie Morgan will be facing off against Tonga and Mercedes Blaze.
Right, come on, be honest. Who have you just cut?
Chikara. I don't know. I've mixed up some matches due to injuries, of course, and COVID. Naturally. You know what? This has been a problem with fantasy booking. We'll talk about it once I've finished my card. So, yeah, Lizzie Evo and Lana Austin against Alexis Falcon and Gia Adams. So I've got the new Queens of the North versus the up-and-coming Queens of the North. So, so old school versus new school Northern match there. Mm-hmm. I think. Then I've got a triple threat match: Sky Smithson versus Rio versus Laura Di Matteo. Yeah. And that is for the #1 contendership. I've put in a #1 contendership match, and that is my #1 contendership match: Sky Smithson, Rio, Laura Di Matteo. Mm-hmm. Another triple threat. Due to some injuries and mixing around, it is Alex Windsor versus Tony Storm versus Nixon Null.
Yeah.
Can't deny that it's a great match. In the all-women tag team match, the Hex versus the She-Wolves for the NWA Tag Team Championships. And then in the main event, for the Women's Championship, Kanji versus Giselle Shaw.
Nice.
Which is pretty much probably where Progress are going. Well, they are going there eventually, but I'm booking it on the all-women's show. I think it should be the main event. There should be a title match. So that's it. But I like my mix of bringing in some new talent, and but due to injuries, having to bring in some top names suddenly. They just became available. They were recently released.
That was really, really helpful for you there.
Yeah. Okay, so I will go first on the BAME card.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'll be good. Yeah. So again, this is a 6-pack Future of British BAME. It is Leon Slater versus Alexander Roth versus Smashing Mike versus H Hood, you know the name, MVK, and Denmark superstar Michael Fine. So bringing in some Danish talent for my BAME show. So Michael Fine. For those who out there don't know him, I recommend just Google him, check him out. Very, very charismatic individual. very athletic, good wrestler. Okay, then I've got Mercedes Blaze and Tonga versus Ronnie Knox and Clementine, keeping that tag team together. Then I've got Roy Johnson versus NXT UK's Levi Muir.
Oh, no, I nearly put Levi Muir in because I'm hoping to go and see him wrestle in the next week or so.
Yes, because I know I don't know if they're actual cousins, but they did train as powerlifters together as well. So I just thought that'd be a nice little power matchup, and Roy Johnson would bring in his the NXT UK Levi Muir. Bring in the king back to Progress, RJ Singh. And he'll be teaming with his Easy City Sovereign tag team, which is Jordan Saeed, and they will face the 0121. Then I've got champion and number one contender Rio and Kanji tag teaming together against who or probably will be undefeated at this point, Holidead and Trish Adora. Then I've got Mallet, and he's going to be offering an open challenge. He's going to be saying, I'm sick of dealing with these young boys like Danny Black, and he's offering an open challenge. Do you know who comes out? The biggest wrestler ever, Franco Varga.
Nice.
Comes out and unfortunately probably gets cheated, and Mallet gets the win, as we've seen happen to Franco Varga whenever he's out here. So yeah, that's my one. I've got Warren Banks wanting to test himself against a former number one contender, somebody who's faced the champion before, in Swerve the Realist. So Warren Banks versus Swerve. And then in my main event, I've got Jonathan Gresham as the Progress champion, and he is going to be facing the Rev Pro Undisputed Cruiserweight champion Michael Oku, the OJMO, making his Progress return. Probably been long awaited for Michael Oku to return to that. So Michael Oku versus Jonathan Gresham for the Progress Championship in my BAME Progress thing. What do you reckon?
I reckon I've booked the same match.
Okay, got it. Let's have your BAME card then.
I have got Jonathan Gresham versus Michael Oku as my headline match because I want to see it.
Yeah, and Michael Oku's a star, and there's no denying it. I sometimes hate the John Cena that they sometimes make him out to be, but he is an incredible talent, absolutely gifted, charismatic, and deserves to be at the top of the card.
Well, I'm going to start off with two young stars to see if they can get their name on the Progress card. I'm going to have Smashing Mike, who you mentioned as well, versus Chocolate Thunder.
Nice one.
Because I think they will both go very fast, very hard, and I want to see Chocolate Thunder screaming on the network. I then have Rio versus Mia Cortez, the Goddess of Dragons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice debut.
The 8-7 versus Jody Fleisch and Man Like DeReese. Fleisch and DeReese have tagged before.
They have.
And they do put on a proper tag team. And the 8-7, obviously, Big Wavy and Alexander Roth. I think this will be a proper tag match. They will cut the ring off and they will go hard and go fast. It will be great.
Jody Fleisch is like the unofficial member of the 0121.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I mean. So he is partnership with him because they're a 6-man tag, and they do have a tag team championship match that we'll be talking about later.
I then have Warren Banks versus Sheik El Shan versus H Hood.
Well done.
Because I do know the name. I have remembered him. And I would like to see him get battered by both of these big men.
You were worried. Oh, what was that?
Nothing.
No, you were worried that if you didn't put him on the card, he'd come after you. But you said something about why you put Hatred in this match against. Sorry, who again?
Mikel Sham and Warren Banks.
And why did you put him in this match?
It's because I need 3 good technical heavyweights.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the reason.
That's the reason. You sure?
Yeah. Malik is also going to have an open challenge on my show, but it is going to be answered by my international pick, Mr. Jay Lethal.
Good. Because Jay Lethal's undersized and kind of works what he's been doing right now. So Jay Lethal coming out saying, I may be undersized, but yeah, I like that.
Tonga versus Clementine in her debut.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yes, it is her debut.
Yes, it would be her debut.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, book the same one as you, Jonathan Gresham versus Michael Oku. Because who doesn't want to see that match?
No, it'd be an absolutely cracking match. And as mentioned, he deserves to be out. But this is the problem with that last match.
Yeah.
It's so hard fantasy booking sometimes. It can be because you suddenly remember somebody. And I'm like, the all women's show, I'm like, I left Evie Madden out. How did I leave Evie Madden out now? And or Laurie, as you mentioned, who's just phenomenal. And there's just so much great talent out there. You know, you looked at my all women's card and the amount of tag matches, triple threat, 6-person, just because I wanted to put so many people on the card that I feel like deserve this chance to shine.
Yeah, I mean, I even forgot to say one of my matches. I forgot to say Charlie Morgan versus Jetta.
It's a great match, yeah. And if you don't know, obviously, go find out. But it is a fantastic match.
And now I'm thinking, why didn't I book Heidi Katrina?
Heidi Katrina, gosh, yeah, power. Aisha Raymond. For
Lily
either
Winter.
of my, for all of my, just so many great competitors out there, and you say I left Jodie Fleisch off my BAME. God, I can't believe I left Jodie Fleisch off my BAME. That's nuts.
So I'm going to make you book a 30-person rumble at some point soon.
Never. And then again, I'm the person who said I'd never book a 6-person match.
Yeah, two.
Technically 3 because I've even got a 6-man tag in there.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go back to the news.
Yeah, Rev Pro UK. So they've announced that Minoru Suzuki will be the man that will challenge Will Ospreay at for that undisputed British Heavyweight Championship at Epic Encounter 2022 on the 22nd of May.
Is this Minoru's first time wrestling in the UK?
No. He's a former Rev Pro UK Heavyweight Champion as well.
Shows how much I know.
Yeah, he defeated Ishii for it, and then Ishii beat him back for it. He didn't even get a defense of the title. Look, Suzuki's a legend. I love Suzuki, and I really, really do. And I think he's amazing if you put him on the card for a special attraction match. But for the Rev Pro UK British Heavyweight Championship main event in York Hall at Epic Encounters, Minoru Suzuki versus Will Ospreay, I don't think it's that epic. And I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to get hate for that, but Suzuki's amazing, and I love Suzuki, but he's also... I'm sure there just could have been better matches out there for this, and I feel like
it's quite simple. Is the belt going to change hands?
Probably not.
No.
And that makes things even worse. This is one of your big shows, and you're booking a match where pretty much we all know he's not going to lose the belt. I mean, it's wrestling. There's always a small chance that he will. But, from what you're seeing, it's almost like Suzuki kind of doing a last little tour. And I think he could have had an epic match at Epic Encounters with a guy like Alex Coughlin, a new young talent, but putting him in there with Will Ospreay for that big title. Sorry, go.
No, I was going to say it's a match that I want to see in the UK.
Yeah,
but not as the headline match. But hey, that's just my opinion, and opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got.
Yeah, we've all got them, and yes, and I kind of, I do share that opinion. One match that could be pretty good, apparently, because it was Australia's 2021 match of the year, and we've seen there's plenty of amazing talent coming out of Australia at the moment, so I'm sure there was a lot of great pickings, but it's going to be the Aussie Open versus the Velocities. As I say, they battled a couple of times over the PWA championships on PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. So that could be a very good match. And I like to see international talent come over. So I like this match. I think I think this could be an epic match.
Yeah. Well, I think Will Ospreay versus Minoru Suzuki could be an epic match. But
I think it could be, but yeah.
I get
you.
BT Gunn will challenge Kez Evans for the ICW Championship inside a steel cage at Bar 2 on 24th of April in Glasgow. This is coming off the back of Kez Evans interrupting and interfering with BT Gunn during the Square Go match, which I will talk about a little bit later on.
Yeah, so we won't go into this one in too much detail to that point. You can expand on it a little bit more there. I will let you, I suppose, deliver this bad news.
FNW have ceased operation. It's very sad. FNW have announced that they will no longer be promoting shows. I'm just going to find the announcement. He says, I should have had this ready to start with because I should have known.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, but in essence, they're no longer going to be doing the shows, which sucks. They have been putting on amazing shows. They have been putting on shows that people want to see. And now it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the show that was cancelled, the one that was literally coming up. I mean, it's a bloody phenomenal card. Okay, so let's just go through this would have been the last show at FNW. Dean Allmark versus Danny Black for the British Heavyweight Championship or the British Championship. Alex Windsor versus Chantel Jordan. Man Like the Reese versus Callum Newman. Luke Jacobs versus Martin Kirby. Mad Kurt versus Nico Angelo. The Dead Sad Boys versus DNIC, two fantastic tag teams. You know, that's six absolute quality, top quality matches. I'd love to see Callum Newman versus Man Like the Reese. As far as I know, they've never competed on a one-on-one. They may have Entitled Championship or something like that. I'm sure if they have, I'm sure it was excellent, but I'm definitely sure you would have loved to have seen that live.
Yeah. So the statement is, we at Fight Nation Wrestling have taken the tough decision to cancel our upcoming show, which was set to take place on Sunday, the 13th of March at Unit 9 in Milton Keynes. Since our relaunch, we've invested considerable amounts in the 5 shows we've promoted, but to attempt to run on the estimated losses doesn't make financial sense, and therefore we have no option but to cancel. The decision has been made after an enforced reschedule, and sadly the weekend date just hasn't managed to get the traction needed to make this event happen. When we relaunched in early 2021, we understood the COVID-19, the crowds coming back fully would take a while, but unfortunately poor sales trend shows Fight Nation at least isn't moving the needle and therefore cannot continue at the rate it is in. successfully. Sadly, we will be taking a hiatus indefinitely. All refunds are being processed by Skiddle and will be actioned following our announcement. Season ticket holders, we will be in direct touch, but if you have any questions, please email info@fightnationwrestling.com.
Because yes, you were a season ticket holder, and I don't blame you. They filmed. I mean, what was it? I gave their last show 4 sugars. I put 4 sugars in my teeth for their last show. It was absolutely brilliant. I know you absolutely raved the Luke Jacobs and
Axel Tisca match,
which absolutely deserved it. And I raved about the Martin Kirby, Mark Haskins. So you were there for at least a couple of their shows.
Yeah.
What were the crowds like while you were there? If I'm honest, looking at them on the TV, on the streaming, they didn't particularly look like they were massively.
The last show was definitely a smaller crowd. There was probably only about 150 there. The show before that, about 200, 220. But yeah, the crowd numbers had gone down. You can hide it in that building. But it's just such a shame.
It really is.
Yeah. We wish all the best to the owners. We hope that they haven't made too much of a personal loss on this, and we wish them luck with their future plans.
And to all the wrestlers that lost bookings, I hope you guys are obviously all amazingly talented, so I'm sure you're going to get some bookings for those last minute at the moment. But yeah, it does seem like a shame, and yeah, as you say, wish them all the best. So a bit happier news to the next one. I'll let you go.
Thank you very much. Brendan White, New Wave and Dragon Pro. Here we go. So Brendan White has taken over Dragon Pro Wrestling in Wales. The big Welsh bear has taken over wrestling in Wales. Full stop, pretty much. He's taken it over from Flash Morgan Webster and Mike Hitchman, and he will be launching the company rebranded as New Wave Wrestling Academy, NWWA. He's also going to be doing all the training as well. It's great for Welsh wrestling, and we wish him the best with it.
Yeah, if guys like Mike Hitchman, Flash Morgan, and Mark Andrews, if they can't dedicate that time like they would like to, I think this one was it's Mike Hitchman and Wild Boar and Flash Morgan, because I think Mark Andrews had a stake in Attack Wrestling. But as you say, it's great for Welsh wrestling. Brendan White has been through the Rev Pro UK Contenders division. He's been drilled and trained to not quite the extent of the LA Dojo, the New Japan Dojo system, but near enough. The UK version of it. So he has been. We've seen him. He's a great wrestler, and I'm sure he's got great connections to bring in amazing talent to help. Who else we got in Wales? You've got Creation Pro, Slam Masters, and Modern Nomad Pro Wrestling occasionally do stuff in Wales via their local shindy wrestling company. Gets a bit confusing, but so there's promotions out there, but you always need somewhere to train. And Brendan White, fantastic guy. We've met him a couple of times. The big Welsh bear. We've told him we call him the big Welsh bear, and he doesn't mind it. So big thumbs up to that one. And good luck with everything, Brendan White, and hope to see lots of great talent come out of Wales, because there have always been great talent coming out of Wales.
Yeah. What was their tag team name, Morgan Webster and Mike Hitchman?
Didn't they use the numbers, like this is the area code or something? And
can't remember.
No, I'm sure they used to go by it was their Welsh postcode number or something. So yeah, I'm sure it was numbers. Anyway, ROH, big news for ROH. I guess we can possibly discuss that when we talk about the next part as well. So ROH Supercard of Honor on the 1st of April it's the big show back, but is it now?
But is it?
No, yeah, we don't know, I guess, but it's still, this show is still happening, and Joe Hendry, the local hero, the national hero, the worldwide hero, Joe Hendry, the prestigious one, will be part of Supercard of Honor.
And if you don't know what you're talking about, you're listening to the wrong podcast, because if you know anything about wrestling, you know what's just happened with Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So I guess move it straight on to AEW. Session Moth Martina, an ROH talent, or former ROH talent, made her AEW Dark debut. She was pictured, I'm not sure who she was wrestling, but she's going to be on AEW Dark. Session Moth Martina. I think she's tailor built for the AEW crowd. Her gimmick is going to get over huge with the AEW crowd, much more than if they would with the WWE crowd. And WWE would probably try and change it, as AEW, I'm sure, will encourage Session Moth to be more Session Moth than she's ever Session Moth before. So I like that. And I guess we'll talk about it. AEW, it's not AEW have bought ROH. It is Tony Khan who has bought ROH. And, well, there's a lot of up and downs, but, where's it going to go? But you know what? It's not British wrestling, so go listen to another podcast that's talking about it, because I'm sure there's about 100 or 1,000. Have I lost you, Daniel? I've lost Daniel. I'm sure he'll be back shortly. A couple of other people who are in the States at the moment. Not in the moment, but going to be Michael Oku, the longest reigning Rev Pro UK Undisputed Cruiserweight Champion, Michael Oku, the OJMO. Orange Juice Michael Oku, that's the one. He will be part of the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show, which is in Dallas on the 31st of March. Then Michael Oku, good to see him getting over in the United States. Mariah May, she continues to bring the glamour to the US. She's been announced for New Texas Pro Wrestling at their show Cowboys from Hell. This is on the 2nd of April, where she'll be challenging the NTPW Women's Championship, Rachel Rose. So the glamour is... are you back, Daniel?
I'm back.
You're back, yes. So Mariah May is continuing her tour in America. She's been announced for her second match, at least. And that's going to be the against Rachel Rose for the New Texas Wave Pro Championship, Women's Championship. Go on, bring the glamour worldwide. And if you missed it, Michael Oku is going to be part of the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show, which is in Dallas on the 31st of March. British Stars getting booked on WrestleMania weekend.
Mad Curtis isn't.
Mad Kurt, no, yeah. So he was he trolled Control Your Narrative. If you haven't seen it, go to Mad Kurt's Twitter. You know what? I'm gonna have to bring it up now. You've mentioned it. It's just absolutely fantastic. This Control Your Own Narrative place has been getting a lot of, I guess, stuff happening and not particularly great. And
EC3 and Killer Cross and Braun Strowman are putting together this group who have announced their massive TV deal on a small streaming site, not even a big wrestling streaming site.
Yes, and they might all be a little bit on the right side.
Little bit,
just a little bit. As decided to pick on them for this reason. And he got a message from EC3 stating, "Hey Kurt, will you be in Dallas on the 31st of March? I am running a show called Control Your Narrative and we'd love to have you on board as such a controversial character. Also, nice try with the ligament joke, but you'll have to try a little harder to get me, LOL." Mad Kurt replied to this saying, "Hello, I'd love to work with you and I will already be in Dallas that week. And I did think you'd be too smart for it, but Joe told me you'd fall for it. Joe Mama, my booking fee is Austin Aries gets vaccinated." And this is now a t-shirt.
Yep, and an 8x10.
Oh, Mad Kurt, never change, you keyboard warrior, Mad Kurt. Anyway, do you want to tell me what happened on NXT UK?
Charles Samuels versus Mark Coffey was our first match. I'm afraid that my internet is being silly again, so fingers crossed you keep me for the whole thing. Shaw was trash talking. It was a good heavyweight match. It wasn't a technical match, but it was a proper wrestling match, if that makes any sense. There were proper wrestling moves without it being all too technical. Samuels missed an elbow, allowing Mark to hit multiple strikes, flying forearm, got a toe count, double clothesline, put both men down. Then Coffey slammed Samuels and hit the running uppercut, which he calls the glass check, for the 1-2-3, and Gallas win.
Yeah, it was a decent enough match.
Yeah, A-Kid was then watching some training. Charlie Dempsey came over and asked if he would teach him that technique, and he said no, because you'll just use it to hurt people. Then Rowan and Turman came over and started beating him down. Dempsey said no to start with, then went, yeah, what the hell, and battered him anyway.
Yeah.
This then leads to an announcement that Dempsey versus A-Kid will take place next week, and I am really looking forward to that match.
I was about to say, I'm so excited for that match. I'm really, it's going to be great. A-Kid, as we've mentioned, he's probably, for us, the NXT UK MVP. And, yeah, Dempsey's been one of the top newcomers. It's going to be so technical, hard-hitting. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah, this is, for me, going to be Dempsey's sort of proper coming out match. So
yeah.
Isla Dawn then sung and smashed up some flowers.
Yeah, I think she thinks she's in a Disney movie.
Yeah, you know what? I thought Les Miserables at some point. So yeah, you know what? The Disney movie, yeah.
Like she's like the Disney villain. I am getting better. It was the second worst segment to ever air in wrestling history. Only just not as bad as Gallas firm bloody segments that we got.
I didn't think it was that bad, but yeah, it wasn't great. Mustache mounted with an approach backstage by Smith and Carter. Trent says that he's not cheating. He's just doing everything he can to win. But they did agree.
Kind of agree with that in a way. Is it cheating? I mean, you jump in there to break up the pin. Why can't you knock the bloke's foot off the rope?
That's a grey area.
It's a grey area.
And he's a grey-haired man. But he is up for second chances after Tyler Bates suggests that we should give them a second chance. So we are going to get another Mustache match, Smith and Carter match.
It was good the first time. I'd like to see it again with fans.
Yes. And then we heard the toilet flushing. Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff had a tag match against Pretty Deadly. Where should we start? Jack Stars has got his cut, his black leather jacket. He's very happy. Pretty Deadly were made to look like
I did tell you, matching
team,
jackets, and they got the win. I hated this. How dare they have Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff go over Pretty Deadly?
It wasn't even Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff. It was Jack Stars completely destroying Pretty Deadly.
Almost single-handedly, as if it was a handicap match, just because one dared to wear his cut.
Yeah, and he did a power bomb on Stoker, and I've got to say, A, it looked like he struggled to get him up. B, Stoker looked double the size of him when he did get him up.
Look, I'm going to be honest here. This is beneath Mastiff, who should be in a much higher position than he is, and this is above Stars.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry.
Stars has been doing so much better. He's just he shouldn't be in this position. He should still be wrestling high up or higher, but not on the same level as Pretty Deadly and Mastiff.
Yeah, he's
so
not...
all in all, this bombed.
Yeah, it did.
Draganov was shown warming up, and Bratty Brookside refused to have an interview because she was on the phone to Daddy. But Daddy is going to help because he knows someone that can help Bratty Brookside. So, who's going to be Bratty Brookside's new trainer, assistant, helper?
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it again. And then she got annoyed because they weren't supposed to be filming that. It was a private phone call. Damn right it was. Don't be spying on Zaya Brookside when she's talking to her dad.
Maybe a Liverpool connection? Maybe bring in Lizzie Evo?
Maybe. Yeah. I feel like they'll probably... I don't know. Yeah. Be interesting. That's fine.
Wild Boar video. The hunt has just begun. So he was complaining about being kicked out of Symbiosis. So Wild Boar will be going for Symbiosis. Will he bring back with him his former tag team partner? Were they called The Hunt?
No, because he was The Hunt with Primate. They were called The Hunt.
Oh, yes, they were called.
And then they kicked him out and brought Tyson in and made them Symbiosis.
Yes, that was it. Yes.
Maybe he brings Flash. I don't know.
Flash and him used to be a good team. We shall see.
Yeah.
Noam Dar and Joe Coffey will be fighting for the Heritage Cup next week.
Should be a good match.
Yep. Charlie Dempsey versus A-Kid will be next week. And Nathan Fraser versus Elia Draganov was a good match.
Phenomenal match. Well, maybe it was, as you say, there was a couple of things I didn't like about the layout to the match. Like
there was a couple of things I found difficult about the fact they've done it for all the right reasons. He is no longer a Muscovite. He is no longer using Torpedo Moscow, and they changed his music. Which is all done for the right reasons, and I agree with it. It just grated a little bit.
That music just didn't suit his usual. And what the robe? Why is he suddenly wearing a robe? I'm champion now. I must wear a robe. I didn't quite get the changes to this entrance.
Yeah.
I do prefer Nathan Fraser in shorts to his usual tights, so I'm glad he moved back to shorts at this match.
I thought he was fighting a little dirtier than usual, which I liked. The speed, some of the speed and the exchanges, my God, they were running at top speed. You're glad they didn't knock into each other. The storyline was basically Draganov trying to slow down Fraser. I loved Fraser's standing.
But it was also that Fraser had no chance against him until Draganov got hurt. I didn't quite like that.
Draganov always has to get hurt during his matches.
Yes, but it was like, well, Fraser didn't stand a chance against him until this. So I didn't. One bit I really, really loved was when he went for the Constantine clothesline and Nathan Fraser preempted him, did his little backflip into the elbow drop. That was brilliant. That was just a sequence of beautiful wrestling. Overall, it was a good, but not as good as I thought it could have been.
That standing Hurricane Rana, though, that was, I think, this is going to sound so random, that's my favourite Hurricane Rana I've seen since S.A. Rios.
S.A. Rios!
I loved S.A. Rios, but yeah, that really stood out to me. I thought was really good. So yeah, overall, I'm afraid that with the Mastiff Stars Pretty Deadly match and with Isla Dawn singing, it's only going to get 2.5 just.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. As I say, the Nathan Fraser Elia Draganov wasn't quite as good as I was expecting it to be, and I think it was due to some of the layout of the match. The Stars Mastiff really annoyed me going over Pretty Deadly. First match was good, but didn't quite feel like it reached the next level. And Isla Dawn doing the second worst segment to ever air on NXT UK. Okay, so it's not the second worst to ever air in all of wrestling, but just the second worst to air on NXT UK at least, which has the first. Do you want to go first with ICW, or shall I tell the people about Progress?
I'll go with ICW before I crash. We started off, this was the Square Go tournament. We started off with Kings of the North versus the 9-9 in a championship casket match because they were going to bury their career. So you have one very large casket that you would have to put both men in.
Okay.
Both teams came out, but it took 5 minutes for the match to start because they were fighting around the ring. Morris was the standout, as he usually is. Lots of chair shots from the 9-9s, the Kings of the North. But they did reverse it, and Corvin punched out Morris to put him and Bonesaw in the coffin. Him and Dickie Divers in the coffin. Kings of the North win and retain their belt. It was a chair-filled fight. Yeah. Right.
ICW.
Yeah. Daz Black versus Dylan Thorne for the Zero G Championship. Both men are fantastic athletes. They're incredibly athletic. They can do everything. Daz Black did some insane move that was like a standing spinning suplex while picking Dylan Thorne up from the ground into a DDT. It was mad. He then did a back somersault over Thorne, catching him into a German suplex, which again was just insane. Daz hit the curb stomp, but Thorne managed to fall out of the ring from it. ADM then caused the distraction. Dylan Thorne hit the crown of thorns, then a shooting star press, Daz's own move, to get the 1, 2, 3. And we have a new Zero G champion, Dylan Thorne.
I was impressed with Dylan Thorne when I was watching the ICW shows, so good to see him get this one. I think he's very much deserving of it, and we can maybe eventually move Daz Black into that main event picture.
Yeah. Angel Hayes versus Molly Spartan versus Lizzie Evo was next for the Women's Championship. Molly knocked out at the beginning, which let Lizzie and Angel have a combination of technical exchanges. Molly then came back and throws out Lizzie Evo, which meant that she then had to batter Angel Hayes. All three of them fight. Lizzie Evo, when she does the Northern Light suplex and then bridges on her tiptoes, she is so good at that. Really great. Molly hit a big double spear, got close 2 count then. Lizzie hit a German suplex on Molly from the second rope, which Molly managed to roll out of. Then Lizzie gets caught up by Angel Hayes in the guillotine while Molly's rolled out the ring and passes out. Angel Hayes wins and is still your champion.
Big win for Hayes.
Kez Evans versus Mark Haskins with Vicky Haskins. Ooh, vicious match. Big fight feel to it, loads of chants. The crowd do not like Kez Evans.
He is a despicable man.
He is. They fought in and out of the ring, and Haskins was fighting just as hard as he always does. And then Kez Evans got a pencil and stabbed Haskins bare feet with the pencil, which was nasty.
Yeah.
Haskins hit a beautiful diver, locked in a clutch, got Kez to the ropes. Kez managed to break the thing. Then Haskins stabbed Kez between the fingers with the pencil because, nice. Now, Kez Evans then pushed Vicky and managed to take the turnbuckle off the top rope. Haskins pushed over the ref in frustration, and Kez sent Haskins into the turnbuckle and then hit him with brass knucks as well. Applied the blood clot clutch, which was completely unnecessary because Haskins was already completely knocked out, and he wins the championship.
Which was a good match.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was very ICW. There was a little video of the ICW wrestlers having a big bar fight, which was started off when Luke Cairo tried to chat up Angel Hayes, and she just emasculated him. It was great. Right, we then had the Square Go match itself, which is a 30-person, 5-weapons Rumble match. We had an hour and 20 minutes of this match, and the winner gets a shot at any title in 12 months. And our participants were, you ready?
Go for it.
Jason Reed, Theodorus, Jimmy Pierce, Logan Smith, Mr. Charles Weiss, Lou King Sharp, who brought the first weapon in, which was a kendo stick, Sheikh El Sham, Martin Kirby, Coach Tripp, Chris Bungard, Ian Skinner, Thatcher Wright, who bought the book, Ravy Davey, who bought a block of cheese, Rabsy Chesbit, Krieger, Big Damo, LJ Cleary, Leighton Buzzard, Caleb Valhalla, Sakib Ali, Luke Cairo, BT Gunn, Andy Wilde, Molly Spartan came in with a chair. Aaron Echo came in with a pool cue. Stevie James, Martin McAllister, but he never made it into the ring because he was beaten down by the Manifesto. And ADM took his place and into the ring. Daz Black, Jack Jester with a steel pipe, Sweeney and Levi. Takeaways from this. Kirby and Sheikh El Sham looked amazing. Both very over, both looked absolutely brilliant. Molly Spartan did really well. She was in there for a long time as well. She was in there for about 25 minutes. Did really well. The final four were Theodorus, who was obviously in at the very beginning, ADM, BT Gunn, and Leighton Buzzard. Kez Evans run down and attacked BT Gunn and dragged him out of the ring. It took 3 attempts, but he managed to get him out of the ring. Theodorus and Leighton Buzzard then worked together and eliminated ADM, which left us with Theodorus and Leighton Buzzard. Big exchange of strikes. X marks the spot 450 onto Theodorus, but he managed to kick out. Theodorus then exposed the turnbuckle. Buzzard got hit into it and then got hit by the fall from the elbow from Olympus, but he managed to get back in and hit a Uranagi and managed to eliminate Theodorus. Your winner, Leighton Buzzard, who has now that title shot at any time. Nice. This was so much better than the Royal Rumble. It had storytelling, it had comedy, it had hard hitting. It didn't have any blood. In fact, I don't think there was any blood on the show. No, there wasn't.
Wow.
Like a me.
Big ICW show and no blood.
No, but then again, they didn't need to be. So there you go. Anyway, all in all, really enjoyed the show. The Square Go match itself was fantastic. The women's match was really good. Daz Black, Dylan Thorne was good. I'm going to give this 3.5 sugars.
Very deserving by the sounds of it. So Progress was on. It's available on the WWE Network or on Demand Progress. Of course, if you want to see Dean Allmark versus Jonathan Gresham, you have to watch it on Demand Progress because it is for the ROH Championship. And I'll get into that. This first match was the Fatal 4-Way, the young lads, Danny Black, Joe Lando, Maverick Mayhew, Callum Newman. They've all been on our show, by the way. Great lads. But before that, Malik came out with Costa Costantino, so they gave a bit of mouth. Then all the boys came out, and what just an incredibly fun match. Was it flawless? No. Did it matter? Absolutely not. It was just so much fun. They were flying around the ring. Callum Newman is just on another level, different planet. There's this run by Danny Black, just hitting move after move on all three of them. He just looked phenomenal. Just Joe Lando doing the shooting star press off the turnbuckle onto all of them. Maverick Mayhew again, phenomenal. All four of these guys are incredible, tremendous young talents. They are the future of British wrestling, as Simon Miller said, and look forward to seeing the progression of all four of these guys, because it was a great way to open a Progress show, just to get that crowd going with big high, at least half the room giving them a standing ovation at the end of it. So it was just really, really, really good. After the match, Malik came down and attacked Danny Black, but he was then chased off by Maverick Mayhew, Callum Newman, and Just Joe Lando. He ran to the back, but brilliant opening match. Spike Trevay versus man like Doris. So this was, Doris, he had the power advantage, he had the athleticism, but Spike Trevay had that technical wrestling and vicious attacks. Great match. Spike Trevay is just one of these guys. Again, he's somebody who needs to be up on that top, because he just puts on some great matches and such a intricate way of dismantling his opponents in a vicious technical manner. Great. I love it. He picked up the win there. Then you had the Gene Money versus Brendon White. Two big men slapping meat. And it was a lot of fun watching these two big men slap meat and try to outpower each other and try to outdo each other. Eventually, Gene Money did come out the victor in this big, beefy brawl. And he was attacked by Adam Maxted afterwards, who delivered a very good promo. So that was very good. Great, good match. Then you had Charles Crowley and Elijah versus the Northwest Strong Team of Luke Jacobs and Keenan Kirshner versus the Sunshine Machine. So this was a triple threat tag match where the rules were, three guys in the ring at the same time. So you got a lot of, eventually it just kind of went wild and they all just started hitting double team moves. And again, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. A great, it's very enjoyable match to watch. So then you had the Ring of Honor Championship match, Dean Allmark versus Jonathan Gresham, under pure rules. So he has defended the ROH Championship both times under pure rules at Progress, and it was a technical masterpiece.
Which I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Then you had the Thunder Bastard match, the all-women Thunder Bastard match, which had Session Moth Martina, Kanji, Lana Austin, Charlie Morgan, Sky Smith, and Mercedes Blaze, and Dunga. The match started with Session Moth Martina and Charlie Morgan. And you're going to hate me and you're going to say I'm not fun, but, Session Moth was trying to get her to dance, and then they, that dance thing where they throw an invisible lasso, and yeah, I know I'm just not fun, but I didn't like this. You're a grumpy old man. I'm a grumpy old man. I like my wrestling. I don't like dance-offs in a ring. So that was the thing. Lana Austin came out mimicking Alexis Falcon, got eliminated straight away. Mercedes, Blaze, and Tonga both got eliminated pretty much at the same time. But after they got eliminated, they just went on a rampage and beat all of the women up. And then Kanji survived to the last and picked up the victory in her first match back and is the new #1 contender. So, yeah, should be a great match again. Giselle Shaw versus Kanji. Then it was Swerve the Realist versus Cara Noir for the Progress Championship. And I will never be able to figure out why the WWE released Swerve. I really couldn't tell you why. He's absolute phenomenal talent. He showed it in this match here. Superb. Both of these guys. Swerve dominated for most of the match with with Cara Noir picking up the win. It just, you have to go out your way to watch this match. It's not a 5-star match, but it's a match that you have to go out your way to see.
Well, tonight is AEW's pay-per-view, where apparently Swerve will be making his debut.
Oh yeah, he did recently signed for AEW, so good on Swerve. He's also going to be part of the Super 16 style, Super Strong Style 16 later this year with Progress. He was the first competitor announced. Overall, I would give this Progress show for that, plus for that. I'm going to give it 3.5 sugars. I don't think it quite stepped up to the level where it deserves 4 sugars, but 3.5 sugars without a doubt. Absolutely fantastic. Some great wrestling. Let's look at the top picks for next week. There's plenty of great British wrestling out there, starting on Thursday, the 10th of March.
With TNT Extreme Thrill Kill. I'm here.
Yeah.
With TNT Extreme Thrill Kill in Liverpool, the Liverbirds will be there, Lizzie Evo and Angel Hayes. The GCW Ultraviolet Championship and the TNT Extreme Division Championship will be taking place at title versus title with Alex Colon versus Clint Margera.
Amazing match. Should be a lot of carnage.
Messy. The TNT Women's Championship, Ava Everett versus Alexis Falcon. Scotty Too Hottie versus Gene Money with Session Moth Martina as a special guest referee. The TNT Tag Team Championship, Man Like Doris and Jody Fleisch versus the Kings of the North. The TNT Ultra X Championship will be defended with Scotty Rourke versus Mark Haskins. And the TNT Extreme Championship will be on the line with Ace Romero versus Dan Maloney.
It's an excellent card. A very diverse card, because you know the Session of Martina and the Gene Money match is going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to say, I'm a hypocrite because I'll enjoy it. But you know why? Because you expect it to be a lot of fun and just a bit more shenanigans going in. So it's forgivable. But I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Scotty Rob versus Mark Haskins should be an absolute great match, really, when you just look at it on paper. New versus, the new school versus the old school. Great match. Friday, the 11th of March, get yourself down to Grimsby for British Wrestling Revolution's No Gods, No Mercy. No Gods, No Monsters for BWR Tag Team Championship match. Reese and Rogan versus Crash Boat versus Second to None. BWR Youth in Revolt final. Leon Slater versus Tom Thelwell. You've got the British Wrestling Revolution Cruiserweight Championships, which would be a 2 out of 3 falls. Scotty Rourke versus 2-Bit. RKJ Ricky Knight Jr. versus Joseph Connors. The BWR Women's Championship will be on the line as Tonga challenges Gia Adams. And then the BWR Heavyweight Championship is also on the line as Callum Newman challenges Robbie X. Gonna be an unmissable match.
Indeed. ECW have got their 3-part show on this weekend. Road to Glory. Show 1 in Preston is going to feature Joey Hayes, Vaughan Vertigo, Philip Michael, Yestin Reese, Will Cross, Jack Morris, Priscilla, Leighton Buzzard, Mark Wheeler, Dean Allmark, Junior Benito, Alex Strife, Psycho Mike, Beastman. They will all be part of the tournament, which continues on Saturday the 12th of March with shows 2 and 3.
Yes, also impressive.
Yes.
Triumph Pro Wrestling have got their 3rd time lucky, which is in Chafford 100. Corey McRae versus Ashley Dunn. That's for the Triumph Pro Championship. CJ Carter versus Happy McDonald. The Rebellion, Taylor James versus Jack Torreno versus both Barrels, Callum Newman and Maverick Mayhew. Joe Lando faces Paul Robinson, and Evan Lee United face the Demon Death Squad.
Nice. Resurgence Wrestling, Iron Woman of Resurgence double show in Leicester. The Resurgence Championship match, Kanji versus Charlie Evans. The Iron Woman of Resurgence tournament first round matches will feature Alex Windsor versus Laura Di Matteo, Rio versus Evie Madden, Charlie Morgan versus Mercedes Blaze, Lizzie Evo versus Alexis Falcon, plus Clementine, Jetta and Ava Everett will all be in action.
Our friends over at the Lancashire Wrestling Federation have got Marching On, which is on Chorley in Lancashire. 2-Bit will be making his debut, teaming with Big Gun's show against the Masked Marauder and Disfrazada. Gia Adams will be facing KT Hawkins in a tag team championship match between the Blazer Guns, challenging the Wrecking Crew. Lana Austin and Helena Razor face the team of Jenny B and Aurora Tevez. And the Merseyside Mercenary Squad face Ronaldo and the #1 contender for Ronaldo's championship, Sonna Durson.
Ultimate British Wrestling, UBW Mars Attacks in Stevenage, which reminds me, we need to do our review of the UBW show that got sent in by Stephen. Leo Edwards versus Spike Trevay. Spike Valentine and Leon versus Percy Traynor and Sin. Sassy Bear Clarence versus Ricky Calvert. J.K. Roberts versus Adonis Payne for the championship. And Josh Spicer versus Ian Rosario.
Yes, and Levi Muir has just been announced against somebody as well. Hugo Bloom of the Heavyweight Heartthrobs.
Wow, that's for Mars Attacks.
That is for Mars Attacks on March 12th.
Wicked.
So there you go. Are you possibly going to be at the show?
No, I'm afraid that I am, as I mentioned before, up for election this year, which means that my attendance at shows over the next 2 months is going to be limited.
Yeah. Unless invited as press.
In which case, I will be there with bells on.
So if you want Big Daddy down at your show, send him a message. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm sure Stephen will be there. He's been following UBW. Absolutely fantastic. Once we finish the top picks for the week, we will do Stephen Souden's review of...
Should we put him in next week's reviews?
No, we'll stick it in now. So Sunday the 13th of March, you got TNT Ignition Ignite the Fire in Liverpool. Tom Farewell versus Chase Alexander. HT Drake versus Shreddy. Tate Mayfair versus Big Guns Joe. Fleet Street Fight, Sonna Durson versus RPD. A #1 contenders match between Ivy and Gia Adams. MVK versus Isaac North. Cam Sodos and Roughneck versus the Mank Union, Sam Bailey and JJ Webb.
Andy, do it properly.
Valgavius.
Thank you. It's just not right otherwise. ICW Insane Championship Wrestling's Fight Club in Glasgow will be filming. You will have Jimmy Pierce versus Jason Reed, Charlie Weiss and Ian Skinner versus Ravy Davey and Krieger, Angel Hayes versus Tonga, Theodorus versus BT Gunn, Lizzie Evo versus Molly Spartan, Sakib Ali versus Caleb Valhalla, and Stevie James versus Aaron Echo. The ICW Tag Championship, the Kings of the North will be taking on Synergy. Logan Smith versus Kez Evans. Dylan Thorne versus Vaughn Vertigo. That should be a great match. And Sheik El Sham versus Andy Wilde.
Should be a great one. Yeah, let's do Stephen's review now because we'll have Stephen's review next week as well.
We will. We're so lucky he goes to see these shows for us. And he does take
a roving reporter. Roman reporter. Go on, and you got it up.
Here we go. Okay, Square One title match. Vinny Kay versus Adonis Payne. Another top performance from Adonis Payne. His in-ring smack talk is always entertaining. Kay got a near fall after hitting the city on Payne. Then Payne's new stablemate of the Meme team came out, Memes and Artemis, for the distraction. And Payne hit the Claymore and elbow drop for the title win to retain the Square One title. Percy Traynor versus Frankie Vegas had a good comedy match. The kids hated Percy and gave him the loudest chant of chicken ever. Frankie won in the end after going old school. The UBW Young Lions title match, Hustle Malone versus Smashing Mike. This is Mike's chance to regain his Young Lions title after Malone cashed in at the Floor is Lava 4. It was a good grudge match with lots of heavy-hitting moves back and forth. Unfortunately for Mike, he couldn't get the job done, but maybe this frees him up to go for the top title. 4 sugars he gave that match. Ricky Calvert versus Sunset Skip. Skip is a huge babyface and the kids love him. He had the match fully under control until Hustle Malone interfered and Ricky Calvert got the win. Skip then challenged Malone at the next show. Spike Valentine then had an interview in the ring. He came out in a hoodie and joggers looking all depressed as opposed to his normal 80s rock star gimmick. Memes, who was also there, asked him to join the Meme team and gave him a Meme team shirt. But Spike didn't give an answer, but he did leave his bandana in the ring. Thunder Express versus the Lads. Brilliant tag match to choose the number 1 contenders. Thunder Express kept up their high-flying offense and got the win after the Bell, Leo and Jackson had their celebrations cut short when 2 masked men jumped them and beat them up in the ring. They were the heavyweight heartthrobs, leading to the belts being on the line at the next show in Welling. And the UBW British Championship match, Truman Roswell versus Paul Hubris. Paul Hubris, one of the members of the Rhodes Academy. This was Truman's first defence of the title. Hopefully this is a good example of what is to come because it was a brilliant match. Both wrestlers shone and it was very hard hitting. There was a nasty looking powerbomb delivered to Paul on the apron, which, as you know, is the hardest part of the ring. Truman ended up getting the win. Another great UBW show. He's looking forward to the Welcome to the Garden, as opposed to Welcome to the Jungle, which is in Welling Garden City on March the 26th. And overall, it was a 4 sugar show. Well done, UBW.
Yeah, I know him and his son Jack really do enjoy going to those shows, and they really do cater to the family. And there's some great young talent coming out of that Square One Academy. So it's definitely worth going to these shows to see who's they're going to be the next few stars. So let's go for a further roundup. School of Slam. The SOS have announced 5 matches ahead of their wrestling tag tournament on the 25th of March in Harwich. A tag team tournament semi-final match, Tim Lee and Cobra versus the East Anglian Killers, which are Lewis Williams and Ryan Boyne. Axton Ray versus...
Ryan
Boyne?
You made it sound like Boyne.
Boyne. Boyne.
I've heard of Ricochet, but Boyne is a new one.
Ryan Boyne. Axton Ray versus Charlie May. Franklin versus Mitchell Starr. The British Championship match, which is a British Rounds Rules match. Richie versus PJ Knight, the Knight family. Vanessa versus Ava White versus Dream Girl Ellie, who has been on AEW. And RKJ, Ricky Knight Jr. versus Blanco Loco.
Yee. Kamikaze Pro have announced the main event for their Sky's the Limit 8 show on the 26th of April in Digbeth, as Chuck Mambo will challenge Clint Margera in a beach ball death match.
That sounds deadly. This could be the most dangerous death match ever.
And will also probably require people called Boing.
Entertainment Wrestling Association, the EWA, they've announced 4 matches, including a championship main event for their Lord of the Ring show on the April 16th, which is in High Wycombe. The main event is the EWA Championship as Joel Redmond challenges Bullet, plus Connor Mills versus the Captain, Simon Miller versus Lucian Phillips. Alexander Roth defends his British Championship against Jordan Said.
Wrestle Carnival. Ooh. Wrestle Carnival announced the all-star team of Jetta and Doug Williams, who will face the Carnival champion Charles Crowley and the Queen of the Carnival Alex Windsor at Mardi Gras. Then at Wrestle Carnival's The Hunt, the Warlord of the Wasteland, Max the Impaler, will make her Carnival debut at The Hunt on the 22nd of May in Nottingham.
And that wasn't my mistake. I've written it down. It's there.
There.
Sorry.
Yeah, I realised that when I said it.
No, my mistake. I'm the one who wrote the note, so I do apologise next. Phenomenal Elite Wrestling. I'll let you take Phenomenal Elite. Yeah.
I would love to take Phenomenal Elite. Chris Ridgway has been announced as Phenomenal. We all knew that anyway. But he is joining the PEW roster ahead of the Kings of Combat on the 2nd of April in Stratford-upon-Avon. Plus, who will become the inaugural PEW Men's Champion as Just Yolando, Big Jim Diehard, and No Adjective Jexter face off in a triple threat match. The Women's Champion Aurora Tevez will also be in action as she defends her title against another Northwest Strong member, Rio.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself when I thought Just Yolando, Big Jim Diehard versus No Adjective Dexter.
I think he'd like that.
Creation Pro Wrestling. Creation Pro have announced 2 more matches for their Insert Marvel quote here show, which is on the 24th of April in Cardiff. It is a triple threat match between Connor Mills, Nico Angelo, and Lee Hunter, as well as a Jumpers for Ring Post match with Sapphire Reed, DOJMO, Brendan White, Mark True, Riho, Man Like Bino, David Francesco, and for Vertigo.
Oh.
Lots of O.
DOA Wrestling Danger Zone on the 26th of March in Yaxley. We'll have the Tag Team of the Year 2021 with the lads. Ben Jones and Alex Echo are going to face a team of Corey McRae and Man with No Adjective Dexter. Then at the In Their House show on the 3rd of April in Norwich, Ash Draven has been confirmed to face Mark Lloyd.
Should be an excellent show. Black Country Championship Wrestling, BCCW, are back in action in Tipton on the 1st of April with Susuedo? Lee Hunter will be in action. The man they call Wesker will be in action. Lucille Lee will also be in action. Plus, the King of Division champion, Reagan, defends his championship against RC Chaos.
Mm. 2-hour drive is not that impossible. Tidal Wrestling Museum on the 26th of March.
Yeah.
Yes. And you need to get to Tidal Wrestling at the Leeds Museum.
Yeah.
The match on the 26th of March for I Want the Moon will feature Brady Phillips, Ivy, Reese and Rogan, Big Guns Joe, Natalie Sykes, Tom Thelwell, Dara Diablo, and Joe Wade.
Some good names there. Odyssey Pro Wrestling OPW have announced the main event for the War on the Shore in Morecambe on the 9th of April. Ryan Hunter defends the OPW Championship in a triple threat match against RPD and Andre Decker. Plus, Kev Lloyd, Sexy Kev, faces Dark Mark Meltzer, backed by Isaiah Quinn and the Freak Show.
World Association of Wrestling. Tickets are on sale now for WAW's biggest show of the year, Fightmare. Fightmare 4 is on the 15th of October in Norwich.
UKPW, Evie Madden will make her first defence of the UKPW Women's Championship as the Locksmith defends against veteran Rhea O'Reilly, who will be making her UKPW debut. And that is at You Don't Win Friends with Grappling. Ashmore and Truman Roswell have also been confirmed for the show, and that is in Canterbury on the 9th of April. Plus, UKPW are back in Medway on the 30th of April with Rainham Rampage.
Whoa! Pampage! I've been watching season 12. I've been watching season 12. There is a whole Pampage episode.
Yeah, brilliant.
Modern Nomad Pro Wrestling have announced their next show, 00 UFO, for the 15th of April at the Frog and Fiddle in Cheltenham. Chris Ridgway, Martin Kirby, Kid Lycos 2, LK Messinger, Rio, Luke Jacobs, Mad Kurt, Splits McBins, Nico Angelo, Man Like Doris, Elijah, and Lee Hunter will all be there, as well as, I'm sure, some special, very special guests.
Indeed. Superstar Pro Wrestling, Made to Last, the tag team of Leon Gray and Ryan Form, will face the team of Ethan Kelly and Jimmy Jackson. And that's a Superstar Pros Slam Jam on the 19th of March.
Wrestle Island. The island returns the 29th of March with This Is the Way. The show will feature 2 title matches and a 30-person rumble. Yay, a rumble! Alice Inc. is the first talent announced for the show. Another nice little aside, Wrestle Island have just released the Wrestle Island t-shirts for the first time in a long time. Do have a look.
Indeed. So just some quick Euro news for you. Rings of Europe in Austria. There will be plenty of British superstars at the ROE Glams division. This is on the 19th of March for their March Madness 2022 show. Molly Spartan will be facing Heidi Katrina, who will be making her Ring of Europe debut. And this will be a first time ever matchup. Previously announced British stars for this show: Nightshade versus Madison Miles, Aisha Raymond versus Regina Rosendahl of Sweden, and Chantel Jordan versus Alice Inc., again of Sweden.
House of Lucha, Barcelona, Spain. The House of Lucha have announced that British superstar Corey McRae and Swedish superstar Enda Kara will be part of their next show on the 20th of March.
Indeed. Passion Pro Wrestling in Hungary. Corey McRae will not be the only British superstar heading to Budapest for Passion 4 on the 10th of April. He'll be joined by his good friend Ruthless Forrest Hayes, and they'll of course be joined by Malkai of Hungary, Robert Dreisker of Germany, Red Scorpion of Italy, Maverick of Hungary, and Tristan Archer of France. A very international show.
Hungarian Championship Wrestling, Peter Tiani will defend the HCW Championship against Zafer Amin on the HCW Vendetta on the 19th of March. Also, a 6-man ladder match for the Revolution briefcase with one half of the Arrows of Hungary, Icarus, Chris Dice, Maverick, Maokai, Dino Babic, and Ted Wellington.
APC Catch are in action in France this weekend. Match card announced so far. You've got the Gullius brothers of Hungary and Tiago Montero versus Kuru, R1, and A-Buck. Peter Tahani versus Tristan Archer. MBM and Ultima Sombre versus Delia and Marie Anna. And Christianum versus Mike D.
Copenhagen Championship Wrestling, the UEWA European Cruiserweight Champion, Luking Sharp, will defend his title for the first time on the first episode of Copenhagen Championship Wrestling's new show, Grunge.
Nordic Elite Wrestling have announced their second show, which is First for Gold on the 2nd of April. In Copenhagen. Dan Evans, Carlos Zamora, Luciano, and Eli Castle will battle it out to be crowned the first ever NEW champion.
The Deutsche Wrestling Alliance. Mariah May is on her way to Germany as she continues to bring the glamour worldwide on the 23rd of April.
And some news coming out from WXW Germany. The 16-carat Revenge Tour is on the 2nd of April. Confirmed to be in action so far are Maggot, Baby Allison, Axel Tiska, Jörn Simmons, Tristan Archer, and Lavaniel. Plus, they have announced the return of the World Tag Team Festival and their Femme Fatales tournament. And this is going to be set on the weekend of the 1st of October to the 3rd of October. There'll also be the WXW We Love Wrestling Wildcard Edition. Really looking forward to that. Might be able to convince my missus that we need to take a trip to Germany that weekend. And you will actually be able to check out my full review of the WXW 16-carat tournament, all 3 nights, plus the Ambition show, Ambition 13 show. They've got upsets, they've got championship changes, and so much more, all to be discussed, and that'll be on an extra special that you'll be able to accompany this, as there are so many, as the 3-hour shows, plus another hour and a half show. It's going to take me about 30 minutes, and it would take too long to just doing a Brit Wres roundup. So do check out my full review of WXW Germany's 16-carat weekend, which should be out the day after this is out.
Wonderful. Good luck with that. And I'm looking forward to listening.
Yeah, the final match show is actually probably happening right now. It's finally been released on the WWX Now Near Live, which is like an hour and a half behind. So they should have just started 93 Part 1. So I'm going to go check that out. And
out of curiosity, on the network that you're watching it, are they showing the demonstration matches from the international companies?
The WXW Now and Friends show will be available on the WXW Now on demand eventually. There is a timetable somewhere for it, but at the moment it was just the Ambition show, which didn't actually have any commentary on it, and the 3 nights of the actual tournament itself. I've lost where that schedule is, but the showcase will be available on WXW Now, which is, I'm really looking forward to seeing. I did ask the question because Wrestle Carnival main evented that one.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much for watching all of that wrestling for us.
Yes, it's been absolutely brilliant. The first couple of shows have just been fantastic, and I can't wait to get back to watch that show. So I'm going to go do that. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, just remember one thing.
One thing? Is it one thing about our special guest that we've got coming up this week?
We will be talking to former TNT Extreme commentator Simon Hill, podcast media OPW commentator, and he's still a commentator for a few different other shows. Esports
entertainer.
Yeah, really looking forward to speaking with Simon Hill. I'm sure he's got some absolutely incredible stories to tell. He's been involved with British wrestling for such a long time. He's so well known. He's one of he's someone we almost aspire to eventually, I guess, be like him. So really looking forward to speaking with Simon Hill.
Yeah, can't wait.
And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, just remember one thing: don't feed the trolls.